Meanwhile, the Democrats are, again, not handling this properly. And I quote Rebecca Traister, no, platitudinous bomb thrower against Democrats. As millions reeled on Monday night, the top leadership of the Democratic Party could only generate words that ultimately felt bloodless. In joint message, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer called the draft, quote, an abomination, one of the worst and most damaging decisions in modern history, yet still could not bring themselves to use the word abortion. They said that the party of Lincoln and Eisenhower has now completely devolved into the party of Trump, and seemed to revel in the fact that every Republican senator who voted for Trump justices will now have to explain themselves to the American people, as if this would provide any comfort to those who are apparently on the brink of losing a right that has been protected for 50 years. Biden made pleas to basic fairness and the stability of our law, concluding that with a message that it was on voters to elect pro-choice officials in November. Sir, we elected you. And you didn't get out of bed to speak to the American people the night this devastating document leaked. Schumer and Pelosi's bizarre assertion that this looming rollback of rights was emblematic of the party of Trump is profoundly ahistorical. The overturn of Roe, whatever form it takes, will not be the product of the party of Trump. It is the party of Ronald Reagan, who came to power in 1980 on a platform that included, quote, a human life amendment. It is the party of George Herbert Walker Bush, who flipped on his previous support for abortion rights to become Reagan's vice president and eventually his successor in the White House. It is the party that put Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito on the bench. It is the party that stole a Supreme Court seat from a president who was elected by a majority of voters, that used the Electoral College and the Supreme Court itself to ensure the White House was occupied by Republican presidents who had lost the popular vote, but could nevertheless appoint justices who had been grown in a Federalist Society lab to strike down freedoms supported by a majority of Americans. So no, where America finds itself is not in the world transformed by Donald Trump. Rather, it's one in which generations of Republicans have been open about their brutal aim, while Democratic leaders have repeatedly asked voters to trust them in a fight up to the very night Roe was struck down in draft form. They refused to accurately describe or perhaps even discern. She goes on to talk about Republicans creating a narrative full of delusion and lies. While Republicans could commit their bit with theatrical force, the left has been unwilling to embrace the real, nonfiction, moral urgency of their cause. The narrative material, as compelling claim on the hearts and minds of voters who want more justices and more equality, has been sitting right there for Democrats the whole time. And unlike the right-wing stories, this narrative has the benefit of being true. How a right to abortion is fundamental to human and familial flourishing, to dignity and economic security, to health and love and happiness and thriving. Do we have that lawmaker from who was on the steps of the Michigan Capitol? All right, maybe somebody can send it to us. That's where we're at.